Good morning, guys and girls. I hope you're well. So as always, just going to be posting some of the charts and some of the analysis that we'll be focusing on for the week ahead, and where we expect some of these markets to move, and obviously where we'll be looking for the entries so that you guys are aware. Now, there are a lot of markets this week whereby there are some good opportunities on the cards for some good movements in these markets. So I'm going to focus for you guys, first of all, on just the ones that I'm going to be looking at for the first couple of days of this week. So ones that are actually relatively close to actually looking for entries. And then for the course members, what we'll be doing is running through these in a lot more detail and actually covering every single market that we have on the cards this week. So just kicking it off, first of all, we've got Cad Chf. So I'm not going to go into why we've done the charts this way, okay, exactly where the daily highs are, daily lows are, etc, etc. But I'm just going to run through what we're looking for and what the kind of movement we would expect to see on this market. So this one is at the top of our watch list at the moment, in terms of the fact that we are at a point now where we believe we should be looking for entries to short this market, to take this market lower. First initial target for this market will be 0.7480. Failing, obviously, if we do manage to overtake that, we can be heading down into that 7.4 level, and maybe even tapping into that daily low. But very interesting market. We could, as I've mentioned here, be making a very big new weekly low, and this is where we want to enter the market on here. So we'll be looking for certain structures, certain entry criteria to actually enter this market in and around this 0.759 level. We then have Aussie dollar, US dollar, okay, and I'll just jump into the daily again so you can really see what's going on. So in regards to this market, we are short on this market, okay. We have a very, very strong dollar at the moment, which has actually taken out previous resistance, which has been standing for a good 4 or 5 months or so. Now, due to that, we do believe we're going to have a pullback first, okay, which is why we'll be looking for long entries around this 0.704, okay. Looking for long entries for about 100 pips or so, but at that point we will be looking actually for short entries on this market around that 0.714, and actually taking this market again down to this 0.704 level. So again, ideally looking for entries in this region. We want to get as low as possible, but we also want to see the structure. Also, the way that it's opened up today already is very, very bullish, so it might be a case that we miss this intraday movement on this, but let's just see and wait and watch and see what the price action gives us. We then have Aussie dollar CAD. Now, Aussie dollar CAD overall is in a bearish trend right now, okay, in a very bearish trend right now. We have spotted this potential swing point here where we could actually take this market higher about 80 to 100 pips, but we're going to be very, very cautious around this 956 level. As I said, Aussie dollar has started off quite strong so far, so we might actually miss this entry, but not to worry. Then we'll be looking at the shorts around this point here, where we'll be hopefully looking at that head and shoulders, okay. Aussie dollar CHF, okay, Aussie dollar CHF is in a potential area where we'll be looking at shorting it. Quite a strong zone that we're heading into at the moment, that we can already see we had a really, really strong reaction of about 80-90 pips or so. So we're just looking for that pullback around that 0.722 level. Any higher would be great, and then obviously looking for that price action to see if it's worth entering this market. Cad JPY. So Cad JPY, at the moment we are currently looking for a bullish move of about 100 pips or so. As you can see, Cad again has also started quite strong already today, so it might be a case that we miss it, but ideally we would want another push into this sort of 82.6 level. A little bit of a retest there, seeing our entry criteria, and then actually entering the market, maybe even tapping into this trend line that we've got here. Once we get to this top point at around 83.8, 84, which is a major level for CAD JPY, we'll be looking at actually shorting this market and taking a new leg lower. We do expect some Japanese yen strength this week, or over the next couple of weeks. We then have Euro Aussie dollar. Now this is probably my least favorite setup, because as you can see, this is daily. Okay, we're ranging quite strongly between this 0.6150 and this 1.6150 and 1.57 level. So because of this is a simple range play. Okay, so actually looking at just buying this market at the lowest point possible to try and take it up to that 1.61 where we've been rejecting, probably 1.6 to be safe. And as you can see, we've had that bullish push this morning, but we then had that pullback now into that 1.58 level. So we will be looking for areas to actually enter this market, potentially around rejections of this 1.58 level. We then have Euro GBP, so quite similar. We've come up to this 8680 level. We've been rejecting that quite hard for the past month or two. We've now created a double top on this, so we would actually ideally like to see this 8650 level come back and tested so that we can actually look for a short move, probably about 80 pips or so for this week. GBP CHF. GBP CHF is kind of in the middle of the 2 points that we'll be focusing on right now, but it's very interesting because we've got these kind of spinning top dojis that have formed here. We've had this big rejection of this 1.3250 level, and ideally what we want to see is, we've seen this big push, we want to see this retracement up here into this level, rejection again around this 13250, and then we can actually start to short this market heading down to these sort of daily lows again around 1.3. So a potential sort of 250 pips on the cards on this trade as well. We then have GJ. Okay, GJ has come to a very strong level of support. Okay, as you can see, we've rejected this level for a good couple of months. Overall we are short on this market. Okay, so hence this 1.46 region which we've highlighted in here. If we do get there, we will be looking at shorts, but in the meantime we may be looking at some long positions here if the price action gives us what we want. We then have USD JPY. So this is actually one of my favorite ones personally. USD JPY, I do want to see that downward momentum come in on this. I think the JPY will be getting stronger as mentioned. I think we've got some strong levels up here. Okay, and I believe what we want personally is just to have another retest of around these levels, and if we start to reject them and we start to see that price action on the lower time frames, then potentially we can look at actually taking a short on this market for about 150 pips or so. Gold. Now gold was annoying last week because we actually had this long position in here around the 1274 level. We did automatically see that push almost up to we did tap into 1280, and then we had a bit of a stop hunt occur, just taking out all of us buyers. Okay, and before it actually decided to rise again. Overall, we are short on this market based on the current circumstances, so how the market is reacting currently. If we wanted to long this market, where we are right now is not a very nice position to do so. So if anything, we would like to be looking at this market below the 1280 level. Then we could potentially get a good risk reward where we can push this market up, okay, up into this 1296 level. At this point, we're going to be looking for rejections, okay, looking for rejections around the trend line, looking for rejections of fib levels, and looking for rejections around this major sort of minor support level, minor resistance level that we have marked on here as well. So obviously a lot of synchronization on this, so this is the ideal trade for this week, to actually wait for this market to come up to here and then actually begin to retrace and pull back now down and make a new lower low. And then finally, GBP Aussie Dollar is the market that we are already in. I just wanted to cover that. So basically, as you can see, our entry was quite nice. Let me just drill down onto the 4 hourly on this one. Okay, so we'd hit the zone that we'd expected. We've created a new daily high. We're now expecting that sort of retracement leg, potentially even because we've created a new lower daily high. We could actually be looking at taking out these previous levels. Now, I don't know how greedy we're going to be on this as such, because there's a few levels such as the 1.82 level just to be aware of, and 1.82750 as well just to be aware of. So it depends how quickly we push into this region. If we have a really strong manipulative move down to these lows, we will look at taking. If we have a slow and steady slug and steady move into these zones that we have marked out, then it might be a case that we decide to move stops a little bit and actually let this trade run and see if we can sort of get down to this 1.81 level. Where we're thinking of taking profits, we're probably looking at about 2.9 risk reward. Where we could take profits if we really wanted to could be around 5 to 6 risk reward as well. So guys, I hope that you find that useful, so you know the kind of top markets that we're focusing on this week. We do have a lot of markets on the cards. Okay, we do have a lot of markets on the cards this week. A lot of interesting opportunities, which I'm going to run through in a bit more detail for the course members, just so that they're aware of everything that we're looking at. And yeah, there's some interesting markets at the moment, and I'll just show you guys whilst we're on it. If you look at the DAXI, okay, the DXY, this is the level of resistance that I mentioned. Okay, so since November we have been rejecting this 97.6 level, very strong level that's keeping that dollar from going any higher. What we did last week is we actually took that level out. Okay, so we took that level out, which is very significant for the dollar. So it could, one of two things could happen now. We could have a huge rejection of this level, meaning that we will then actually look at coming back lower and sort of down to the bottom of this range of around 96 again. Alternatively, we could just kind of have a bit of corrective movement and corrective behavior where we actually come down here into this kind of 97.5 level, maybe a little bit lower, okay, before we actually start to make a new leg higher, and then dollar pairs are going to get very strong. Okay, and this is a very important level that we have been unable to reach, breach, sorry, since July 17 last year. Okay, July 2017, 2 years back. So this is a very strong level, so just something that's really worth keeping an eye on. This could really strengthen the dollar. What I personally want to see is I want to see a rejection. Okay, I don't want to see any more strong dollar, but this is something we certainly have to keep an eye on. Okay, so guys, thanks for listening. I hope you find it useful. So these are the markets we'll be focusing on definitely at the start of this week. And obviously you've got our watch list, so you can keep an eye on these as well. So thanks guys. Course members, the main video for you guys actually with all the patterns and the setups and all the information as to why we have our bias where it is going to be coming for you guys shortly.